Good afternoon and welcome to a look at Northern Territory support programs for business, as well as the grants and member-based benefits you can get from different places around the Territory. We won't just be looking at Northern Territory Government programs or Northern Territory Government grants. We're looking at some of those, but also looking at some from the Australian Government, some programs from the Australian Government, and also things that have been initiated by the membership-centered associations around Australia as well. So if I do miss anything, please to drop any notes in there if you need to. But thank you so much for joining me. I think I should share that screen and get underway. So hopefully we can all get a little bit of an early mark today. I want to put in here that I want to actually recognize the Northern Territory for this, because no other jurisdiction offers as diverse and generous a range of business support and grant programs as the Territory. That's just the Northern Territory stuff. When we add in all the other stuff that's coming in from the Australian Government, from the various private enterprise and industry association models as well, we're seeing such a generosity of available programs for people. And depending on what particular industry you're in and what you're looking for, you may be able to access some of these without even an ABN, but others you may require an ABN, Northern Territory residency, a turnover, of at least $75,000 per year, paying GST and such. So as we get to those, I'll try and explain them a little bit more. I can see there's a couple of people on here who are joining us from government as well. So thank you for keeping an eye on me. I appreciate it. And hopefully I don't mess this up. So what we're going to cover today is support programs that are available for small businesses. We're also going to look at some grants available for small businesses and where you can get a little bit of help with this stuff as well. So for instance, if you need some help preparing yourself before you go and apply for grants, that can be found as well. First of all, this is brought to you by Business Station and the Digital Solutions Australian Small Business Advisory Services Program from the Australian Government, specifically funded by AusIndustry across Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia. Although everyone here is, I assume, from the Northern Territory. But I'll tell you what, though, if you're not from the Northern Territory, some of these things can make it really, really tempting to move here. It certainly is a place of boundless possibilities. You can also watch this a little bit later on YouTube through either the Business Station channel or my own channel, Dante St. James. Just follow my name, put it into YouTube or Business Station as well, and you'll be able to view it all from there. A little bit about myself. I got quite I'm a badge collector. I've been called that before. Apart from my own business as Clickstarter, my training business, DanteStJames.com, and Cellular One, my mobile phone and NBN reseller agency. I also have done a lot of work on my studies through University of New South Wales and University of Western Sydney. TAFE New South Wales, done tons of little micro credentials there. The Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK, and recently gained my LinkedIn marketing professional certification as well. I work closely with Facebook Australia and New Zealand through their Boost program as a lead trainer, digital marketing associate, media planning professional, media buying professional, community manager with the Boost with Facebook Australia group on their behalf, as well as a couple of other certifications in there. Won't go too far into them. And was very proud this month to be part of Northern Territory Government's October Business Month 2021, which continues on tonight. There's a session with Gus Balbonton at the Darwin Innovation Hub. And then tomorrow, even more sessions, and Friday, I've got one as well at about 12 o'clock where I'm presenting a session on book it, do it, invoice it on your phone. So hopefully you can join us for that. obm.nt.gov.au for those free and some of those paid events as well. Make sure you get into it. So what we'll look first of all is some small business support grant programs that are around. So we're not going to start off with the grants. We're going to leave that for the end, because honestly, that's probably what most people are here. And I just want to make sure we get the most, the maximum amount of people on this webinar to take advantage of that information. But the small business support programs that are available across the Northern Territory include this one that's funded by the Australian Government, and it's for CyberSafe NT. Now, this one's delivered in the Northern Territory by the Business Enterprise Centre NT, who has presences in Darwin City, and also in Alice Springs as well. And it allows you to get a free cybersecurity assessment. Now, I absolutely recommend that every business does this. I know cybersecurity is boring and it's annoying and nobody likes it, and everyone hates changing their passwords and having two-factor authentication, but this assessment will show you where you are vulnerable. And most of our well, yeah, I probably have to say most of our small businesses in the Territory are quite vulnerable when it comes to cybersecurity. And so when it comes to your online data, your privacy of your data, and also, the access to your systems is one of those areas you really have to look into. They host free cybersecurity workshops and referrals to local professionals from across a range of different businesses who work in the areas of cybersecurity. So I thoroughly recommend you do this anyway. It may be boring, like I said, but it's one of those things where you should be doing something like this every year just to give yourself a bit of a top up to remind yourself that you are vulnerable. becnt.com.au/cybersafe is the place to go to, and you'll find out more about that. The second one is the Entrepreneurship Facilitators program. This is a really good program for getting the ideas worked out. So if you're really at the very, very, very beginning of your business journey and you want to know, whether your idea could be something which is viable or whether your idea is valid, this is a process you can go through, which is completely free and funded by the Australian government through AusIndustry as well. So you can look at through new business idea generation. So you can sit down, do the business model canvas with a certified professional in this, and they'll help you to work out whether this is something which is actually viable, ready to go with. But on top of that, you can also take advantage of the one-to-one mentoring support, which allows you to ask the questions that you need to ask. And also for them to not just work in a workshop environment where sometimes might feel a bit weird asking questions. Like even in a webinar, we get asked so few questions because people don't want to really have their question put out to the rest of the world. So this gives you a chance to ask those questions to somebody who is just working on your project and your business alone. But there are workshops and referrals available as well. One of the great connections that Treaty has made with the Entrepreneurship Facilitators with Business Station is linking with programs like the NICE program, which is offering funding to help with startup of businesses, and also referring on to other areas such as the Business Enterprise Centre through to the Small Business Champions in the Territory Business Centre, which is just downstairs from Treaty as well. So there's plenty of opportunities in there. It's free. If you've got an idea, just get in touch with that program through Treaty. So treaty.com.au/entrepreneurship/facilitators. That one will get you there. And feel free to take screenshots of these as well. Or if you'd like to have me send these slides to you at the end, please just probably drop in your email address in the chat window or to the Q&A window where only I can see it, and then I'll be able to send you this at the end of the webinar. Digital Solutions is the next cab off the rank. This one is presented by Business Station. They're based in WA, but have they have also some presence here in Darwin as well. I'm part of this program, as well as a woman called Hayley Barrett. And you may or may not know of others such as Chad Pickett from Illume Marketing. We've also got Michelle Henson from Operate, you have to remember that. And then there's also Melissa Arthurs from Number Cruncher Accounting. So you can get help with quite a big range of different things to help you to be able to, I guess, get help with the programs that you need, or the systems that you need, or the platforms you need when it comes to digital stuff. And this covers areas such as online security and data privacy. It'll cover social media and digital marketing, websites and selling online, small business systems, and also in the areas of business strategy. How it works, this one I've got a lot of information on at the end, so I'll help you out with this one at the end, where you get 3 hours of one-to-one mentoring and 4 hours of webinars and workshops, and then unlimited access to additional webinars and workshops, and an online course platform as well where you can learn stuff. So yeah, absolutely, definitely a worthwhile one. More details on that one later at businessstation.com.au. Thanks for dropping all your emails in as well. Starting to see those drop in. So thank you. I'll make sure I get those to you, and I don't close the window here before I've copied them into my notes. So thank you. Your small business champions are awesome. These guys are the first port of call when it comes to getting access to government services, government programs, and government grants. They can give you information about these things. They can help you to be able to work out what might be the best little pathway for you to do it. And it includes things like information on licensing and permits, referrals to programs, referrals to partners that they work with. They may say, you know what, go and see the guys at Treaty or the Business Enterprise Centre or one of the other areas to first sort of lay out what it is you want to actually achieve. And then they'll help you through that process of then coming back to them and saying, okay, now what we can do is start to apply for the various programs and resources that the small business champions in the Territory Business Centre do provide you. So nt.gov.au is a place to start. And if you look under the business area of nt.gov.au, you'll get all the information you need about the small business champions and the Territory Business Centre. They've been a very big part of October Business Month. So it's been really great meeting Graham, who's on this call right now, and Robin, and many of the others who have been like amazing partners to work with over the last few years. Also very good for your general support of new and growing businesses too. The Business Acceleration Program is a partnership of the NT Government, the Darwin Innovation Hub, and the University of South Australia's Australian Centre for Business Growth. I know that is a very, 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 very big mouthful of words, but it's all really basically about enabling you to grow your business beyond where it is now. So it provides mentoring with very qualified and very vetted consultants for CEOs and directors of businesses. So these people who are, you've already got, you've got your company structure. So you are a CEO or a director of a company, and you've got, very good runs on the board already. This is not for a startup. This is for an established business to grow to that next level, to get the leadership of that business in a position where they can drive that ongoing growth for many, many years to come. Up to $30,000 is funded for mentoring and business growth, but this isn't just for everybody. If you're starting off with your very small online shop, this is probably not for you, but you can find out more about it at darwininnovationhub.com.au. I know that some people, and they won't mind me saying it because they say it often themselves, people like Terry Polman from Fetch at Berrima has gone through this, and she really does credit this program as instrumental in being able to stabilize and then grow her business to the next level, from hosting a little post office at the old Berrima petrol station to what Fetch is now, which is an amazing, almost like a little department store really in Berrima. Always find excuses to go in there. The Entrepreneur Program is from AusIndustry. So the Entrepreneurs Program is funded through the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources from the Australian Government, and is delivered by Darwin Innovation Hub in the NT. Now, this is for businesses that are very established. You've got your basically about $300,000 per annum already running in your business, but you want to take it up to that next level. You really want to go from 300,000 to 1.5 million and above. So this allows you to have various little growth grants of $20,000 a piece to help you to put the infrastructure, processes and leadership and training in place to help your business get there. And then when you look at something like a major project that you want to undergo, this particular program, if you manage to get onto it, then you're able to go through to get from $500,000 to $1 million in matched project funding. So an example would be, for instance, you need to build a new water treatment plant for a very large cotton farm in the Katherine region. So this would be a very good program to get involved in, because it's an area of massive growth in the territory, and it lets you be able to invest, say, you can invest $500,000 of your own money. Now that might be like eye-wateringly huge amounts of money for some people, but for some of these projects, it's actually, this is operating capital. So $500,000 would then attract another $500,000, so that you then got $1 million with which to build that particular plant. So this is obviously for businesses that are established and really starting to make their move in the territory. And it's a really good program, really good people at the Darwin Innovation Hub. Emma and the team there are doing great. I remember meeting Steve and Grant on the road during October Business Month as well. And they're really passionate about trying to help out businesses to go beyond just that stuck in that like sole trader land to the next level, to really upscale their businesses and create futures for themselves and benefits for the Northern Territory as well. The Venture Capital Network is through the Darwin Innovation Hub as well. And this has access to 3 specific venture capital firms. Paspalis' own venture capital fund, which is, I think, raised most recently about $26 million to be investing in the territory innovation ecosystem. Cap Vista, who is very, very strong in the defense field. So if you're working on some innovative work to do with defense systems, automation, defense support mechanism, that sort of thing, then you've got it's something you might be able to present to Darwin Innovation Hub, and they can make that introduction to you to Cap Vista and others. And 500 Startups is another group that invests very, very heavily into startups, not just in Silicon Valley and Sydney and Melbourne, but they look further upon. They're looking for the big new opportunities that are coming from regional areas of the world. And the Northern Territory has been identified by them as an important place for the startup ecosystem. So it's for startups who have outstanding growth potential. So we're not looking about one e-commerce property that's selling scented candles. We're not talking about a market stall. We're talking about ideas that can be scaled to almost a global state, that they can be taken out to the much broader world in order to create very large businesses that change economies, I guess, not just a sole trader business. Then we're followed by TradeStart. Now, TradeStart's an interesting one because it's run out of Treaty Business Consulting in Berrima, but I know that Mark Faulkner, who is the TradeStart consultant, TradeStart advisor, operates half of his week out of the North Australian Development Office on the Esplanade in Darwin City. And he does that because that's where a lot of people come to when they're wanting to talk about exporting overseas, whatever their products or services happen to be. So this is part of Australia Government's Austrade, and they provide free advice and referrals for businesses who are looking to pick up their products and services and start shipping them offshore. So they can give you advice and referrals to people who can help you to put things into places like, probably not China these days. There's a little bit of a blockage there, but there's massive moves in India and Indonesia. Indonesia has become the fastest growing e-commerce economy in the world. And to think about the 260 million people, some crazy amount of people are shopping online like crazy, and they are looking for quality goods. Same with India. India has 6 Amazon distribution centers. It will probably have 20 of them by the end of 2023. So there's a big online e-commerce reach that's happening in India and all of Asia in particular. But you may want to go to America, Canada, any of those other countries in Europe or Africa. Austrade, through the TradeStart advisor Mark Faulkner, can help you out with that as well. You can find out more about that one at treaty.com.au. They've got plenty of information there about how you can contact Mark and have a chat to him about what the possibilities are for export for you. The Essential Business Skills course, this is a really interesting one because this was like the business startup course that the Business Enterprise Center used to run years ago. And they've now put it in a position where it's not just for the people who want to do this in person, because it was always an in-person delivered event. Now it's also an online course that you can do. So you can do it at your own pace, in your own home, or in your own office, or you can go into the Business Enterprise Center's offices, both in Darwin and Alice Springs, and do that course with a facilitator there. It's a complete course on how to set up and run a small business in the NT. So it covers things like marketing and operations, technical and IT, your legal responsibilities, setting up an ABN, getting business names, a little bit about trademarks and intellectual property as well. So they're a good group of people to be seeing if you're at the very, 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 very beginning of that journey and you want to know what it takes to set up a legal and successful business that's going to grow in the future. bec.com.au/startups with a hyphen in it will get you there. That's a very, very good course, and it is quite there's like so many business owners in the Northern Territory I've spoken to who at some stage have done this course and have really just said this really got them the right start they needed to let them know that, that starting a business isn't just getting a name and an ABN, but there's other considerations you need to look at, including the financial considerations. It really does cover that well. BEC is featuring strongly this afternoon. They've also got their own business advisory services. Now you can get access to one-to-one advice from the BEC NT advisors, also access to online learning, weekly webinars, feasibility, looking at the feasibility of your business, getting advice around that, also upskilling in certain things that they have access to with their internal and external advisors as well. And it's a member-only thing. You have to join this, but the membership is actually free. So once you get into that membership, you register online, then you've got access to this world of things you're able to get. So to get, a little bit of things like, access to people who you can run ideas by is a really great service. So I thoroughly recommend you do that as well. Take advantage of as many of these as you can. I don't think there's any such thing as getting too much help when it comes to starting up a nice, stable, and future-focused business. There's now also subsidized specialist referrals, and this is one of the things that the BECNT is very, very well known for. I used to be some years ago an advisor on this list as well. I've moved on to other things now, but this is funded by the Northern Territory Government and delivered by the Business Enterprise Centre. And it gives you up to 4 hours of free specialized advice for NT businesses in areas that the BECNT themselves may not be able to cover off, and they might need someone who's a specialist in an area. That can cover everything from digital marketing to accounts and bookkeeping, IT, things like intellectual property. There's connections with people who can help you with systems and systems analysis, legal advice as well. So you can get that, free access to professionals, not just consultants, but professionals who do this work every day. If you're not quite sure where you want to sort of start when it comes to just hopping in and starting to go, oh yeah, I need to maybe do this. I maybe need to do this, talk to a lawyer or talk to an accountant without actually committing to a lawyer or an accountant. You can get at least underway to get the idea of what you're in for and what the information that you need to know to move forward. And that may be with working with that lawyer or that accountant or that digital expert or that systems analyst or that financial expert directly, or it may be that you get enough for that 4 hours for you to move on. I've used this myself in the past, and what I used it for is to help someone to guide me in the direction of getting the right bookkeeping system. So one I had was FreshBooks, and I ended up going on to Xero because that was the advice I was given. And in that 4 hours, we were able to get Xero and get it brought across from my old system as well. So it really saved me a lot of time and money. And I've gone on now for that consultant, no longer is with that program, but they now are a consultant that I am with full time as my bookkeeper. So I use them all the time, and it's been a great relationship for probably a good 4 years now. This one we've already seen, so subsidized specialist referral. So I repeated that one. So we'll move on from there. And there's another one. I've made lots and lots of copies of that page. So let's look now at some membership-based programs that are going to help you to connect with others in your industry, but also have some benefits you may actually not know about. Now, these are less about grants and support programs and more about connecting with others in your industry, such as ACS&T. As a big storm just drops in on the Darwin CBD right now. Don't know if you've got it in your area, but it's thankfully it's watering my plants on the balcony right now. $374 a year or $32 a month gets you access to the Precipio online learning platform, which will teach you like almost endless technical skills in IT, and also the ability to learn some soft skills. So the management skills, the working with other people skills, the even mental health skills through the Mayo Clinic's learning platform that's included in there as well. So you can sort of address all those different areas. Now, this is mainly for people who work in the IT and communications, digital marketing, those kind of areas. You're able to watch videos for certified professional development hours. So as you build up your hours, you can then qualify to get certification as a certified professional. I'm currently working through that myself, and includes public liability and professional indemnity insurance. Now, of course, this isn't for everybody. If you're running massive events for hundreds of people, that insurance is not going to cover you. It's $20 million of insurance for professional indemnity and public liability. So it will cover most areas, but do beware. Read the fine print before you go into that. By all means, this is just general information and not financial advice. Please consult someone before you make decisions about public liability and professional indemnity insurance. But I'm a member of ACS&T, and I think their networking sessions are great. I think their online system is amazing. I do learning in there almost every day just to keep those skills nice and sharp. When it comes to AOP-NT, they are the Australian Institute of Office Professionals. And from $95 a year, you can access regular webinars, conferences. They do regular networking events. I'm actually hosting a few workshops for them in November, December, and January. Things such as how to work with LinkedIn, also how to network. We're going to do a speed networking event with them at some point early in the new year. And also areas such as, how to use things like Facebook as a business or as a sole trader rather than as an individual. So if you want to get access to those kind of things, get your certification pathways, becoming a certified office professional, or you just want to attend a few workshops, $95 a year isn't much to get access to that stuff. And I'm working really closely with Dion Daniel and the team at AOP-NT to make sure there's lots of ongoing educational and professional development coming through that's going to be free for members. So hopefully we'll see some of that in the next month. Territory Proud for $125 a year gets you that buy local recognition. So if you ever see a truck or a shop or a sign that says Territory Proud on it, that's because they're a member of this organization and have bought the right to be able to use that stamp. It's full of networking events, there's educational events every so often, guest speakers, there's a member list that's actually listed on the website. Some of these membership organizations are great for you because they give you that extra bit of what I call SEO juice. So it's to do with your findability on Google. The more stuff you've got referencing your business on Google, the better your business performs on the search engines. So in this case, Territory Proud is one of those that helps to connect you through. So for instance, my business is on there. There's about 450 other businesses on there who are members, who are listed openly and publicly, so that it becomes an extra little boost for their search engine optimization as well. And it also helps to show that you are a territory business and you support other territory businesses as well. territoryproud.com.au. Now, Aiden NT is a support network for those who are looking to work with or alongside others who work with defense. So for $400 per year, I'm a member of this one myself. I get alerts for defense related contracts. This is not just for people who are going to, build weapons and operate tanks. This is for people who are providing support services. They could be anything from cleaning to electrical work, plumbing work, any of those sort of hard skills you have to go in with to keep the operations defense running. You don't necessarily need to be defense accredited to work with these. I work with a couple of defense contractors, and I'm like a third or second level person outside the actual contractor that I don't need specific clearance to work with, because the things I'm working on are usually to do with marketing or promotions or communications in some way. They help with advocacy for tenders and giving you assistance with how to respond to those tenders as well. So if you want to get into defense work, this is where you need to start. They provide lots of networking and educational events over the year. So if you're someone who wants to work with defense, and there is billions upon billions of dollars coming into defense in the territory in the next couple of years, then you really want to get involved with these guys. David Milne at the Aiden NT office, at the North Australian Development Office in the city, in the Esplanade, same places where Mark from Austrade hangs out, is a great person to talk to. He really knows his stuff, and it's worth having a chat to him about how they can help you as a member to connect better with work coming through. Chamber of Commerce Northern Territory is kind of like the voice of business in the Northern Territory, really. There's a couple of options for membership, but I'll let you know kind of the difference between the $250 option is for what they call their entrepreneur members. So if you're a sole trader, you don't have a huge amount of money or revenue coming through, you're not a very big business, then this is a good membership option for you. It gives you access to a couple of business at sunset meetings per year. You get to use things like member rates on training and events and different services they run. But if you size up to the business essentials, which is what I've got at $465 a year, you get to have access to putting your events in their event calendar, which I've seen as being pretty good for getting the message out to people who are members. And there are a lot of members of Chamber of Commerce NT. So if you can get involved in that, it allows you to have access to put your events on this. You've got webinars, if you've got training events, if you've got networking events you want to put on there, as a member, you get access to be able to nominate your events and your things on that calendar. You also get some industrial relations advice and interpretation help when it comes to the Business Plus membership, which is a level above what I'm on. But even at the Business Essentials membership level, you still get advice on business insurance, which is quite important when you're trying to choose the right kind of insurance for your particular business. Getting that second opinion on what the insurance should be, rather than just listening to a broker who tends to be just working for their own commission. Well, then you're able to get some advice that's very much based upon business requirements, not just commission requirements to the person selling it. They have networking events for members of the Business Essentials, Business Plus, and corporate memberships. You have access to complimentary hot desking and boardroom use. Now, this is something which people just obviously do not realize I use that much, because I don't know of many people who actually do this. So it'd be a really good idea if you could maybe, get in there, have a chat to someone at Chamber and say, hey, how does the hot desking work? I know that Nicole and the team down in Alice Springs are working at the moment at getting that together. So they've got some hot desking space there in the big new Alice Springs office at Alice Plaza. In Darwin, in the one that's here in the CBD, I know that they have got hot desks available and they're not always used. So it might be a good option for you if you're traveling between Darwin and Alice to have access to that. And I know that members are really well treated as well in Catherine, with Colin, who's the ICNNT and Chamber representative in Catherine, has a great little office there, and he's always willing to have visitors there. And if you need a place to work to from the day, he's very accommodating to let you come in and sort of work from the boardroom there and have somewhere to base yourself if you're in town. So there's a lot of benefits to membership there. It's one of those things when I first came into business in the territory, I was like, oh, I don't need that. That's rubbish. They don't do anything. And then I actually met them and talked with them and saw what other people were getting benefit from. And I thought, you know what, this is something I definitely want to get access to, because I don't want to have to go looking for all these resources when I can go to one place and get those. And they're very closely associated with the ICN as well, the Industry Capability Network. So it's always good to meet those representatives to understand a bit more about how you can, I guess, better highlight your capability to take on bigger projects, to take advantage of this money that's coming into the territory right now from all sorts of areas. And we're not just talking about defense, we're talking about marine, we're talking about agriculture and mining and minerals as well. Tourism top end is a good one, I guess. I'm not a tourist industry. I'm not in the tourism industry, but I have tons of clients who are. So it's important for me to be connected to them and show that I support them through their industry body. $350 a year. It's a little on the pricey side, but you get a monthly event with that, which is always catered. So it's just worth that I kind of call it a dinner a month that I get out of them. So a dinner a month for $350 a year. It's like getting one of those discount books, the entertainment booklet. So you pick out the vouchers and you go and get your free food. Well, that's what I treat tourism top end like. Just kidding. I do also treat it as a really good opportunity to network with people I've been working with for years, as well as getting the industry briefing so I know what's going on. And I can also advise my non-members and those who I work with that not only do I understand what they're going through, but I can understand what's coming up and making them aware of that too. You get access to the quality accreditation program. So we get the tick of approval as a quality accredited operator in tourism or in hospitality, and access to what they have as an enterprise development program, which is a lot of very free and or very low cost subsidized training in areas from everything from promotions and marketing through to using review systems and the whole world of online bookings as well. Quality accredited operators through Tourism Tap End also get access to their own Review Pro dashboard. And if you don't know what that is, you imagine all the reviews that are coming in through Google, Facebook, Instagram, through TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Hotels.com, Trivago, all those places where people book stuff and there's reviews on there. This is like one dashboard that shows all of that. And so you can see exactly how your business is going. So you can track those things, follow up on them if you need to, and you'll be in this position where you know what's happening with your business and its reputation. They're also at Tourism Top End currently running an advertising subsidy of up to 50% with approved media and digital. So approved media and digital includes things like Channel 7, 9, and 10, Hot 100, Mix 1049. I'm not sure if it's Territory FM though, but I know that there's also a couple of the digital marketing agencies in town, my own included, and Captivate, two that are I know that are on that approved list. So you can do some digital online advertising of up to 50% of the cost of that will be subsidized. And the other one is, of course, on those established media channels. And I believe the NT News is also attached to that as well. So that alone can be actually worth it for more than making back the cost of membership. Tourism Central Australia is very, very similar. So it's very, very similar, slightly more expensive. You don't have the advertising subsidy as well, but all the other stuff is there. The quality accredited certification, having access to Review Pro, your industry briefings, your monthly events that are always very well catered for. It's always a good thing to be if you're operating in tourism in Central Australia or you're working with operators there. So I'm a member of both Tourism Central Australia and Tourism Top End because I work with tourism people in both centres. So I want to make sure that I'm showing my support for them and also knowing exactly what's going on. It's really, really important as a consultant to be doing that. So now we begin the big kahuna bit, the bit that I think you've all been here for is what grants are available. And there was some excellent briefings done about 2 to 3 months, about 2 months ago now in Alice Springs, Darwin, and in other centres as well on certain NT government business grants that are available. And there's a lot of information in there. Please do not take this as personal advice for your business. This is just a piece of information that's designed to say, here's what's out there. Now, please go and see the people themselves or go to their websites to get the fine details about it. Because, I don't want anyone going and saying, oh, but Dante said, I just want you to realize this is just the information I've been able to gather. There's a fair bit in here, so please do be patient with me. First up is a business pivot grant. This is matched 50-50 funding of up to $10,000 for training yourself for future skills that you may need, training for requirements you may need to change the nature of what you do for business. Now, I could give you a rough example that could be, say, for instance, someone who's working in an area that isn't so popular at the moment. So high-end accommodation in a very remote place, which is typically relied upon a lot of people coming in from overseas to be their customers. And now that they don't have that, this would be somewhere where you can go, well, to pivot to something else, I want to be able to pivot to be able to provide easier access for locals and Territorians and people within Australia to get to here. So what would I need to do? What training, what skills, what new technology may I need? What equipment may I need? Do I need a new point of sale system? Something like that. You can then apply for that, including things like physical improvements or renovations and general works on your physical premises. It's a really good grant to get because it allows you to do that little bit of work that might make a big, big difference, especially if you're a small operator or a small retailer and you've been really affected by COVID. You really should look at this one. Some of the requirements, but not all, are that you must be an NT business. You must employ at least one person, which I believe can also be yourself, but Graham on the call can probably correct me on that if that's not right. You pay GST and turnover at least $75,000 per year. So please do make sure you do check out what those requirements are at grantsnt.nt.gov.au. And that's where to go pretty much for all the information about grants in the NT, no matter what the industry, no matter what the enterprise you're working in, it will give you the full information in there. And the best part about that is if you have a question, you don't know how to answer it in those particular web pages, there are small business champions at the Territory Business Centre who are ready and willing to chat to you about that and give you the real information. These guys want you to get these grants. They really, really want to see your business grow. And they've been amazingly supportive over these really rough couple of years. And I know the team at Berrima and elsewhere have just been overrun in the past year, and they've really, really been helpful to businesses everywhere. So have a look at what the Business Pivot Grant is. It may be something which is suitable for you. The next one is the Arts and Culture Professional Development Grant, also with the Northern Territory Government. This one doesn't necessarily require you to have a certain level of income. It's actually open to individuals and to businesses. And it's all about if you want to present at or participate in specialist workshops that are going to grow your development as an artist. Now, when we say artist, there are guidelines and ideas of what an artist actually is. So things like dance, music, visual arts, tactile arts, cultural things, all that sort of stuff is very much outlined about how you can do the right thing. So please do have a look at this one if you're working in the arts field. If you want to do arts workshops, if you want to teach people pottery, if you want to teach people how to sing, it may be appropriate for you. Up to $15,000 can be claimed in a grant as an individual. It's not a 50-50. This is just a straight out grant. There are the arts NT grants are generally formed in such such a way that there is quite comprehensive acquittal processes to go through, but there's people who are going to help you. The arts and are very good at helping you out with that, and there's people business consulting firms, everyone from creative pitches to Nairi Slatter copywriting to not so much myself these days, because I'm not an attention to detail guy, as anyone who's ever read my emails knows that I make lots of mistakes. So that $15,000 is something which you do have to acquit properly, and you have to make sure you do the right thing when you're doing that acquittal. Over $15,000, then you have to apply as an organization, and there is a little bit of extra criteria that may apply to that. This is a good one if you're an arts business, and you may not qualify necessarily for business pivot or business growth grants. This might be an option for you, but it's very, very strictly only for those who are in business or operating in the arts. Related to that is the Creative Communities Grant, which is from Arts and Culture as well. So it provides support for initiatives that increase community participation and access to arts and cultural events and opportunities. It very much holds a priority for things that are promoting health and well-being of communities, related then to arts and cultural activities and events and outcomes like that. The same kind of thing, $15,000 an individual, up to $15,000 as an individual. And if you're looking at over 15 grand, then you go in as an organization, and then those criteria such as the $75,000 a year, if you're earning that, then you must be registered for GST and you must have an ABN. So to look at those grants, remember arts. If you're on the arts, please ignore that section. Next up is another one for the arts, which is a quick response grant. And this is for one of those where you may not have perhaps been eligible for a professional development grant, but you can get some support for traveling to arts and cultural opportunities and events and workshops at short notice. It can help you out with marketing for the workshops that you may be doing. So if you don't get that access to the other grants, this may be an option for you. And it's one of those ones which is a very quick turnaround as well. So they make sure they do these in such a way that you don't have to worry too much about having to go through a long approval process. The same kind of amounts are there, but you have to be very careful in your applications for these and making sure your budget is very well lined out. So if you need help with that kind of thing, actually ask Arts NT. They will point you in the direction of people who can help you with that application process. Now, the Aboriginal employment grants are quite important because they are open to employers or not-for-profits who want to grow their Aboriginal workforce. Now, this is not about providing payroll support. It's not paying for your staff. It's not saying, I'm going to pay you this to employ Indigenous people. It's not that as well. It's about encouraging more Aboriginal participation in the workforce by providing some funding that will allow you to get training and vet for your employees, to upskill them. That's to help to get more Aboriginal participation in the employment industries. So the limits are going to vary. There's not really a set amount that's there, but obviously the government has set sort of certain budget for that. So there's going to be an upper limit for it. But think about when you're sort of wanting to train people up to be able to do very specific tasks in your business, or if you want to help retain them. So having sort of programs that you want to help fund to retain staff for longer, or for personal protective equipment purchases or tools. But remember, it's not for giving me a bonus for employing someone Indigenous. It's about giving you a grant that helps you to better support yourself as an employer of Indigenous people. So if you think of it that way, and you think there's an area in your business where you could go, actually, I'm already wanting to employ more Indigenous people in more places around the territory, have a look at this one, because it could be a really valuable one for getting you some support to, I guess, support, they call it the wraparound. So it's not the employment itself, it's the things that sort of wrap around the employment. So training, skilling, personal protective equipment, programs within your business to retain and train, that kind of stuff. Then we move on to the Gender Equity and Diversity Grants. Now, these ones are put out by the Office of Gender Equity and Diversity, and it's all about helping you to operate programs, festivals, events that promote gender equity. And also that sort of carries over not just to gender equity, but the LGBTIQA plus community as well. So if you're looking to get involved in things that are around pride or things that are around International Women's Day, although I think the grants for that are just about to close at the end of this month for the International Women's Day stuff. So if you're looking to do an event for that, get into that one in a hurry, grants.nt.nt.gov.au. Get in there really quick. But otherwise, for stuff that's going to promote gender equality in the community through events, through different activities, and LGBTIQA plus communities as well, there is funding available, not just to community organizations and groups or businesses, but also for eligible individuals. So I want to say it's favorited, but there is a priority on people and organizations and community groups who are doing this kind of work. So think of if you're a part of an organization on a committee, for instance, this could be a really good one for you. I know that we've been really, really happy to see a lot of sports associations wanting to do a little bit more in this area, not just for gender equity and getting more women involved in sports, but also reaching out and for reconciliation with, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, and asexual groups of people as well. And now the big kahuna, this is the one that a lot of people really want to talk about and get information about. And the NTG have done a great job of putting information out about this. So I would say, I will sort of give you a little bit of an introduction on this one, but please do go to grants.nt.nt.gov.au to get the full bit of information on here. This is a refresh, I guess, of what, the old business solutions, digital solutions, and IT solutions grants used to be. It's kind of bundling it in one and saying that you've got this bucket of $10,000, but it is matched 50-50. So what it means is that if you want to put in $5,000, you can then get a grant, or at least apply for a grant of a further $5,000. If you have $10,000 you want to contribute, and you can then go for an extra $10,000 on top of that as the 50-50. So it allows you to then go, okay, I want to do some work in strategy. So things like business plans, things like marketing plans, things like corporate and government strategies, marketing, operations, things that are going to help you to operate better if you want to do quality improvements to your organization, if you want to start to go to things such as, I guess, your I'm thinking of ISO certification, those kind of things that can help you operationally to do better. If you need help with financials, so you want to be able to sit down with a consultant who really, really knows the financial stuff and knows systems and can help you to get yourself in a better position to be able to track and monitor and grow your finances in the future, that's a good one for you. People and culture is an interesting one. This is all about maintaining and attracting and retaining staff, essentially, and being able to work on your corporate culture as well. So that might involve some training. It might involve some activities you want to run in there, and so they can be matched with a consultant that can help you achieve that. One interesting addition to this in this year was mentoring and coaching. That was identified as a very important aspect that people wanting is people who can coach them through everything from intellectual property through to graphics, through branding, through marketing, through digital, through IT, through so many different areas, to be able to sit down with someone who knows this stuff, who's done this stuff, and who has been vetted by the government to be able to deliver advice in these areas. There are some restrictions. Now, there's not like, I'm not going to get them all in here because that little gray box would be unreadable. But first of all, you must have an ABN. That's the basics. Secondly, you should be GST registered and an NT business making over $75,000 a year of turnover and employ at least that one person. And I did have Graham verify with me earlier that that one person can be yourself as a sole trader. So this one isn't open. This is not a startup grant. This is, like it says, a business growth program. It's designed to support businesses that have already done the basics right. Now they're ready to get to that next level. And that's really what this is about. It's a great opportunity. It's opened up so many possibilities for you to be able to get the help you need with growing your business to the next step. So thoroughly recommend you have a look at this. And there is an approved providers list you can go and look at as well. So if you go to grants.nt.nt.gov.au and you look into the into the business growth program. There's a link right at the bottom of the page, which is where the approved providers are. So please look at those and see if you recognize any businesses or individuals in there that you would like to work with on whatever that particular area of growth is that you want to have. But when it all comes down to it, the best place to go once you've gone to Grants NT is to talk to our small business champions in the Territory Business Centre, because they are all over this stuff. They know all the ins and outs. They've been working at this for a long time, and they've dealt with a lot of businesses here in Darwin, in Alice Springs, in Catherine, Tennant Creek, Nhulunbuy, and beyond. So it's a great idea to sort of have a chat to them, see what you might be eligible for. And if you're not yet eligible, they can help to at least point you to the right directions to get to the point where you can build yourself up to the point of being eligible. And then you can come and have another crack and maybe apply for one of these programs, including the growth one. So there's plenty of opportunities. As I said at the very, very beginning, the Northern Territory provides the most generous ecosystem for grants and business support that I've seen anywhere. And people from other states, when they see what we do, they just go, oh my God, you guys have the best. Like, we don't have any of this in Queensland or in WA or in Victoria. Now, another one that's a really interesting one I'll introduce you to is the North Australian Development Program through the Australian Government's business.gov.au portal. It's 50-50 funding between $50,000 and $2 million for small to medium enterprises in the Northern Australia, which includes us, obviously, and the whole of the Northern Territory, in fact. It does include Indigenous businesses as well. And the whole idea is to create jobs and strengthen the capability of our businesses in the North, and also give us some more resilience to go through some tough times. The idea is here to scale the business up and increase not just the turnover, the profitability of the business as well. So this is an interesting one. There's a lot of different things you have to look at as requirements for this. There is obviously a limited pool of money to be putting into this as well, but it is designed especially for businesses that are already running, already have some level of success, and are ready to go to the next level. So again, 50-50 funding. If you have 50 grand to be spending on some infrastructure, you can apply for another 50 grand to be able to get 100 grand to be able to put towards that piece of infrastructure. And if you at that point where you want to grow a bit more, that $2 million is available to you. So please have a look at that at business.gov.au and look for the Northern Australia program. Aside from that, we've also got the final one, which is the Innovate with NBN Grants. Now, these are only, I think, 6 different grants that are available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grants that are available, plus a bonus grant for the best possible one to get an extra $25,000. So it's $10,000 grants, one of each in the following areas in regional Australia. So you must be a regional Australian business that includes pretty much everywhere in the Northern Territory. In work in health, agriculture, tourism, arts, education, Indigenous business, or in women in business. So you apply for one of those for a chance to win a $10,000 grant. And then on top of that, if you're the best of the whole bunch, an extra $25,000 will be awarded as a prize. So this is through NBN. It's funded by NBN and delivered through the Regional Australia Institute. So this is available to any regional area, not just in the Northern Territory, but let's face it, we're all from the Northern Territory here. So there's tons and tons of opportunities. There's one actual area that I actually completely forgot to put in this, I've just remembered it now, is there's microfinancing support available through an organization called Many Rivers. So Many Rivers is, it works right throughout Australia. They've got a very strong focus in Northern Australia and the Northern Territory in particular. There's staff in Darwin. There's, I met Adam Troyan, which is the guy who handles Arnhem and Darwin, Kat Lee, who actually runs the whole show. And then you've got amazing people right across, including Manny, who's working out of Catherine and taking care of a lot of sort of the big rivers region as well. Really good people who are out there to not just provide money and funding, but they're also out there to help advise on bush businesses, particularly, and small businesses on how to take their business from a complete, dead stop to getting some kind of momentum going in there. And it's really great to see some amazing people like Ben Tyler, for instance, who's doing such great things with Kakadu Kitchen and baking and writing books and that sort of thing. He does so much stuff. And seeing others, like I met someone called Janine down in Tennant Creek, who's doing a great job putting together her bush food infused ingredients into oils that are used for, bush medicine purposes. So there's tons of stuff that can be funded out there through that. Manyrivers.org.au, I think, is the address for that. And Eileen's on the call. She used to work with them once upon a time. Thank you, Eileen, for that. Manyrivers.org.au, I did get it right. They're a fantastic organization, and they're really good to talk to. Even if you don't qualify, they're really good to talk to, at least to get you on the right track towards doing the right things. So the final one I want to talk about, I did brush up on very, very early, which is do something that's going to support you through social media and digital marketing, websites, e-commerce, cybersecurity, business software that does our heads in, that runs my printer that never seems to work, financial management for things like Xero, MyOb, QuickBooks, all that, managing staff and connecting with your customers better and developing a bit of resilience in the business and mindset, and helping also with grants and tender applications as well, is through the Digital Solutions Program that's delivered by Business Station in the Northern Territory. And it's $44 will give you access to 3 hours of one-to-one guidance. $44, 3 hours with someone in one of those specific areas you can get access to. So that also then gives you an extra 4 hours of webinars and workshops that you'll be recommended to go and do as well. But after that, you've got unlimited access to all the webinars and workshops that you want to do. And they are currently got, like, I'm doing about 8 webinars a month and about 4, 5, or 6 workshops a month. You've got access to all those. Plus then on top of that, you've got the 57 other webinars and workshops that are going on across the system as well. So businessstation.com.au is where to start that one. I really recommend that. If you want to work with me specifically, please do put me down as your preferred provider that you want to, advisor you want to work with. But I also recommend you have a look at Hayley Barrett, who's working with Business Station as well. She is brilliant. I've had such great feedback about her, and she's based in Darwin the same way I am. In fact, she just lives directly underneath me in this building. We somehow magically moved into the same building, so it's very convenient if you need a cup of sugar or an extra cup of flour or something. So $44, check it out, businessstation.com.au. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I know it's been a big month for a lot of you with October Business Month. I'm going to a lot of events. If you want to reach out to me, please do. I always accept invitations on LinkedIn from anybody within Australia, really. So please connect LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or send me an email. I would love to have a chat with you. Before I go, thank you for taking some time out of your business to work on your business. I know it's not always the easiest thing to do. And to thank you also from our guests from the government who are here to make sure I did the right thing and said the right stuff. Thank you, Graham. And to friends I know, such as Christine and Eileen and Laurie, who've always been very, very valuable, I guess, traveling buddies on the road through this world of small business. So thank you very much. And I will log off now. Get all your email addresses and I'll send you through those slides so you can have them as well. So thank you and have a fantastic afternoon. It's been really great having you.